3 weeks after firing Baba Jamal as Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, President Mahama has replaced him with Baba Sadiq, a media entrepreneur who also worked as a communicator for the ruling NDC. And the swift appointment of Baba Sadiq make me wonder, is the reason why President Mahama hasn't appointed anybody to be the Minister of Defense is because there is nobody in his orbit he trusts enough to be Minister of Defense? Because think about it. In the State of the Nation address, President Mahama used the word security 19 times. For context, in 2016, President Mahama gave his longest State of the Nation address, which is on record as the longest State of the Nation address in the history of Ghana. And he used the word security 4 times, which means that security is highly on the mind of President Mahama in 2026, as it should be. And yet, there is nobody heading affairs in the Ministry of Defense in 7 months. Is the reason because he can't find anybody he deemed trustworthy enough to man the security of Ghana in this dangerous time we are living in? I'm curious to know. My name is Nenebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. On this channel, I talk about geopolitics and trade from the perspective of an African. And so if you like intellectual conversations, subscribe to this channel. Now, let me start with a little praise for Baba Sadiq. Congratulations to Papa Sadiq on being appointed as the High Commissioner of Ghana to Nigeria. Baba Sadiq was the founding director of Boomplay Ghana. That is the company that popularized streaming in Ghana. Tigo tried and failed. He was also the founding CEO of 3 Music Awards, a position he resigned from to run for MP in Okanyukwe Central, and he lost that election. But the most important thing he's done in his career is writing the blurb for my book, Everything That Happened and the People Who Made It. So congratulations to somebody I know and love for taking that all-important role. All right? So, obviously, you can tell from what I just said that I love Baba Sadiq. I know him. I've known him for years. Let me tell you how deeply I know him. I used to work for a company called Music Base Limited. I was very young when I came into the industry. And when I was working at that company used to be an event coordination company on behalf of Samini Music. So anytime Samini has a concert or festival, whether it's Samini Fest or any of the Salah events Samini used to do in Tamale, we used to organize that for him. And why is that relevant? Baba Sadiq used to manage a dancehall artist called Kaki. Kaki was signed to Samini Music. So we virtually work together on a lot of different events. That's how deeply I know him. And I know him to be somebody who carries himself with discipline, self-respect, confidence, and creativity. He's done a lot of innovative things in the entertainment space. The way he was able to make Boomplay popular in Ghana and by extension, music streaming, is a story for the books. I'll talk about that someday. The way he was able to make 3 Music innovative is also something commendable. And I'll tell you something he did in 2020. So in 2020, when the whole world was shut down, the entertainment industry was virtually at a standstill because most of what we do is meeting with people. So nobody didn't know what to do. And Baba Sadiq decided to go ahead with the organization of his 3 Music Award. And what they did was, because they didn't have the restriction of being in a venue in front of a crowd, they decided to turn every single performance into a music video. So every single performance in that year's music award, 3 Music Award, was a music video on its own. And that made people realize that, oh, there's so much more we can do, even though we can't go out and organize events. And that gave Ghana Music Award the confidence to also have Ghana Music Award a few months later. And the entertainment space started opening up from then. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do with his new role as the High Commissioner in Nigeria. That role is not a media role, obviously, but innovation is not something that is restrained to just entertainment. All right, I used to work in entertainment, and the creativity I have in entertainment is how I approach talking about geopolitics and trade on this channel. It's a transferable skill. Creativity and confidence are transferable skills. So I know he's going to do well in that role. And also, I'm glad I know somebody in that role. Anyway, defense. According to the US, EU, and other organizations, Burkina Faso is the epicenter of terrorism in the world. Ghana is standing next to a ticking time bomb. I'm speculating some things will be happening in Burkina Faso soon, but I'll talk about that in future. This week, I'll talk about security a few times. And Ghana doesn't have somebody leading the defense sector in that regard. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, so he's leading defense, but the role of the president is huge. He's also the head of government in Ghana. From drinking pure water to making sure that Ghana's airspaces are safe, the president is in charge of everything. So that is why he has ministers. For example, the Ministry of Defense offices is in Burma camp. The president works in the Flagstaff House. He can't commute to Burma camp every day. Now, if a critical decision needs to be made in the Ministry of Defense, it will take a lot of time to reach the president or the acting minister at to foreseen who is running the economy. So it is really, really critical, especially in what is happening in the world right now. We all know what is happening right now. Having a minister of defense is important in this time. But that is why I'm wondering why the president is taking so long to appoint somebody. The defense role in Ghana is not just important for doing the job, it's also important for a certain reason. Ghana has a history of coup d'etats. We are one of the oldest democracies in Africa, but democracy is fragile. So usually you put into the Ministry of Defense somebody you know can have his ears on the ground, so that if somebody wants to try something crazy, we can nip it in the bud. You understand? So because of the dual purpose of the Ministry of Defense in Ghana, not just protecting the country, but also protecting the president and the presidency, it requires trust. Is the trust the reason President Mahama hasn't appointed anybody yet? I'm really, really curious to know. I've been thinking about it. I've had sleepless nights over the defense situation in Ghana since what happened in what happened in Burkina Faso happened. Because I grew up in Bogatanga, I know people who went to Burkina Faso and came back all the time. You understand? This is close to home. So we need to do something about it. And like I said, I know that defense is on the mind of the president because he keeps talking about it. He keeps acting in that regard. He have even hosted a high-level security conference in Ghana, which tells me that he is not sleeping on the job in terms of defense. He's just hadn't followed his thoughts with actions that will make us feel safe. That is why I keep bringing this up. So we'll talk more about defense this week. My name is Nenebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. Subscribe if you like intellectual conversations. We'll talk later.